President Trump sends out multiple F-35s to Puerto Rico as tensions boil with Venezuela. He also confirmed more consequences for Russia after a terrifying attack on Ukraine. Also, Democrats continue to fight for the wrong side as they defend gang members. We've got a lot to cover, but real quick, please help out the channel by dropping a like and subscribing for all future updates.
Strong on drugs. We don't want drugs killing our people. I believe we lost 300,000. You know, they always say 95, 100,000. I believe they've been saying that for 20 years. I believe we lost 300,000 people last year. I know families that lost their son. Those families will never be the same. I know a family lost a daughter, a beautiful daughter. In fact, it was like she took something that she thought was like a minor deal, and it turned out to be riddled out with fentanyl, the size of the head of a pin. And you're dead. And no, we're stopping the drugs. We're going to save a lot of people. Look, whether it's 100,000, but it's not. It's 350,000 people died last year from drugs. And we're not going to let that happen to this country.
It only takes an ounce of common sense to realize that the president is right. We need to stop the influx of dangerous drugs into our country. We need to keep ourselves and, of course, our children safe. Now, as we know, President Trump ordered our military to blow up a boat operated by the Tren de Aragua, a gang that has smuggled these kinds of drugs into our country. Here's how Secretary Marco Rubio described them.
They are narco-terrorist organizations. These are not stockbrokers. These are not real estate agents who on the side deal a few drugs. These are organized, corporate-structured organizations who specialize in the trafficking of deadly drugs into the United States of America. They pose an immediate threat to the United States. Period.
This justifies the attack. These people pose a threat to U.S. citizens. In fact, many have already died because of the drugs they have taken into our country, and yet Democrats want you to think that this was an act of war against an entire country, that Tren de Aragua is not a threat to us, and that this was a reckless decision from the president. Listen to what Representative Ilhan Omar had to say about it.
Congressman Ilhan Omar is not happy, writing on X, quote, "I condemn the Trump administration's lawless and reckless actions in the Southern Caribbean. Congress has not declared war on Venezuela or Tren de Aragua, and the mere designation of a group as a terrorist organization does not give any president carte blanche to ignore Congress's clear constitutional authority on matters of war and peace."
The message from the left is crystal clear. They're siding with the criminals and the terrorists, with the concept that everyone has rights, everyone except the victims of these gangs. They never want to talk about that fact. What the president did was more than just blow up a boat. It was a message to these organizations that the US and its citizens are now off limits. Moving on, Russia recently hit a government building in Ukraine for the first time, with at least 4 dead, which includes a young woman and an infant. The Kremlin reportedly launched more than 800 drones and missiles in an attack that many have condemned.
Well, Kim, the scale is certainly significant. The fact that you had some 810 drones. There was also about 9 cruise missiles, 4 ballistic missiles. It is the largest aerial assault that we have seen since this war began. And that is why we are seeing that so many of the missiles and drones did manage to get through. Now, the vast majority were taken down by air raid defences, by the defence systems that Ukraine has in place, but they were simply overwhelmed in some cases. So we know that well over 50 drones got through, a number of those missiles got through, and that is where we are seeing the significant damage and the loss of life.
The attack has now prompted President Trump to respond, with him confirming consequences for Russia.
Are you ready to move to the second phase? Are you ready to move to the second phase of sanctions against Russia or punishing Putin?
Besides sanctions on Russia, the White House is contemplating placing secondary tariffs on the countries that buy Russian oil. This would further push Russia's economy to the brink, with hopes that it pushes Putin back on the table of peace. What are your thoughts on today's video? Make sure to let me know in the comments. Also, we've been on a roll lately, and I'd love to get you guys more involved with our success. So please, make sure to share this video with all of your friends and subscribe to become part of this awesome community. Thank you for watching. Talk to you in the next one.